there's a lot more logistics that have to play a factor when you're working in a team environment. And you have to go, okay, these are maybe our logistical parameters that we have to organize around. What is the box that I can play in? Then once I go into that box, I want to say, okay, how do I get the maximum output out of that area? So if I have 20 minutes or if I have 2.5 hours, if I have every day or I only get 3 days a week, I want to figure out what my boxes are. I want to remove the rocks in the shoe as best as I can. So if they're doing something that's not helping them, get rid of that before I start adding something good. I'm a big believer of like eliminating the thing that's hurting them quickly. So I think a lot of coaches aren't willing to do that. And if something's like affecting the kid's ability to grow, you got to remove that immediately. So logistics is a big deal. So for instance, if I go to Alabama practices in the afternoon, but if I go to Georgetown practices in the morning, so they knock all their stuff out early in the morning, there's a big difference in how I organize that kid's like stresses throughout the day and what they do in their weight room if they're getting up at 5 a.m. every day. And there's the recovery window. So I look at that and I go, okay, how does what I do play into everything that matters in a skill-based world? So you brought up fighting. So fighting's a skill sport. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone's, oh my God, this guy's winning because he's stronger, like at a low level, but I don't operate in the low level. So whereas strength is a very easy way for an athlete to get advanced or above average. If you look at it like jujitsu, and because I'm just using a belt system for a second, yeah, the stronger blue belt's going to win, right? But at the black belt level, that really don't matter, right? That does not matter. So I think a lot of times we have our own ego to the table. Oh, we're a strength coach, so that we think strength is going to be the factor. Like strength isn't going to make somebody win or lose. If anything, it actually be a hindrance because they've lacked the development of the technique over time because they have been able to augment the technique with strength instead of leverage. So it actually hurts them in the development process. It helps them in the confidence in the early stages, but it hurts them in the long term. So I'm a big believer of looking at what's holding the person back, taking a step back, removing it, figuring out what the boxes I have, and then adding the impactful things in first. If you want to get into specifics, we can get down and talk about like how I lay out a program, what I'm looking at. But overall, most people are not willing to take out the things that are hurting an athlete, and most people are not willing to prioritize the most impactful stuff because they're always writing programs for their own ego. And Triphasic, and that's great. Cal's a super smart guy, right? There's not that many fucking Cal Dietz in the world. He's a fucking savant, which makes him, yeah, he's special, and he's both special in one way, and he's short bus special in the same way. So the question is like, are you going to replicate what Cal does, knowing that you need 7 fucking interns just to set up the damn program? Or are you going to do what Brian Mann does, and you go, oh, I'm going to do velocity-based training or power training or whatever that may be, but now I need gym awares everywhere I go. So it's okay, what are the logistical challenges to set this up to manage your philosophy?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Cal needs he needs 7 damn people just to get his game plan. He's got force plates. He's got all this other stuff. Now, if Cal worked with one guy, he could train that person however he wants. Cal's a really good coach, but he's also a puppet master. He stands up here and he can organize and orchestrate all of the stuff that's going on. But if you don't have that availability, ask how he runs his program when he's got to be by himself with 40 people. It's a completely different program than what's on paper. So you have to know, like when you walk into an organization and you know your role, you have to know what's in your box. And there's a time to assess how big your box is, right? And there's a time to assess what goes in your box too. But when you're there, you got to figure out like how to maximize that time. And most people are writing programs for themselves or for their colleagues, right? Instead of actually like what people are doing.
That's powerful. And rather than diving into the nitty gritty with it, because you have a unique experience where you are dealing with guys that are either going in NFL spots or college, for our listeners out there that are either NFL strength coaches and they have guys, that are away for a while, or any of the college coaches that their guys go off or girls go off to private sector coaches, how do you recommend the marrying of the two, especially in the NFL where they're away for so long? College, you're not away as that long.
Yeah, like an NFL strength coach really doesn't have that hard of a job. That's like the biggest cakewalk in the industry. But they are people managers. Like they have to manage the emotion of those players that come in. What I would recommend to all private sector coaches is communicate with the college strength coach, because I think that you need to. I think it's the respect thing. Number two, you need to find and identify what they look for when the kid comes back. Who cares what I write an off-season program for college programs so that kids don't get hurt on their own. I'm not writing a program with my supervision. I'm writing a program as a college coach for the supervision of that knucklehead with their friend at whatever gym, or so that when they go to a private sector that they could still do the necessary things that we need when we get back and we could go right to work. So I want to know, what is the program going to be like? So let's just use kind of summer is they're off and they come back in the fall, right? An athlete comes back in the fall, the first 2 weeks, what program do I have that athlete on? If I gave that to a private sector coach, or if I gave that to an athlete, you say, hey, listen, whatever you want to do this offseason, that's completely up to you. Understand, this is what you're going to do when you get back. Good luck. They'd be significantly better off. Don't worry about the testing. Don't worry about, oh my God, we're going to test your 40, your 60, your 100, your 10. We're going to test your bench, your squat. We're going to do all, who cares about that? Understand these are going to be the lifts your first 2 to 4 weeks when we come back. And I do not want to waste time. So we're going to hit the ground running, and you're going to be expected to do these things with these percentages, with this amount of volume, with this amount of rest. Get right. Most coaches are not willing to give the autonomy to the athlete because now it questions their actual ability to write a program. But you literally tell a fucking kid, say, hey, listen, I don't care what you do, but you got to do these 5 things when you get back. Guess what they're going to do? They're just going to do those 5 things. Because they know that's what they're going to get worked on. Not that they're going to get tested on. That's what they're going to get put through. Oh my God, gassers are stupid for football players. Hey, listen, my coach is old school. My coach has this in his mind. Guys, old school coaches, new school coaches still do that shit. Get over it. It ain't old school anymore. You're the new school guy. You're bald with a beard. I never wanted to shave my head because I didn't want to look like one of these damn powerlifting meatheads.
Listen, I have shitty hair. I look fucking
like,
terrible.
Hey, it got to the point where I was the comb forward look. My hat wasn't cutting it. All right, I got to do it. So if I basically just handed my athlete and say, hey, listen, you're going to have to do these things, they're going to go run 10 100s, and they're going to be ready for it. And they're going to be thinking, oh my God, I know when I get back, I got to run 10 100s. Okay, they're at least prepared for that. So they're not going to get hurt in our actual prep. That's what they're going to do. Like I said, I'm a skill-based coach first. So at the organizational level, and I talk to a strength coach, I basically say, okay, what are we doing at the skill level that is hurting? Like what are we doing at the skill level that is hurting the athlete's ability to get better at the skill? Because a lot of skill coaches have an idea that these drills help them get better, but they don't actually help them get. So I try to take that out and I go, okay, hey coach, if you ask like, how do I communicate with the coaches? Hey coach, you want them to be able to do this, but this drill actually does the opposite. I'll give you a practical example of that.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.